I can't afford to pay the bill. But I get paid on Friday. I was thinking maybe you just look out this time. I mean, you did ask me to come out to eat. Well, I sat here and pretended
This is
like I
so
cared
awkward.
about what you said for like an hour. I think it'd be respectful
Oh
for you to
my
pay the
god.
bill.
Oh my god. Something about paying a bill, I'll pay it, but like that's
She invited him on a date, but for some reason, she thought it was his responsibility to cover the bill, but it didn't go as she expected because he refused to pay for it.
What's the most a guy should spend on a woman on a first date?
$2,500. At least $2,500. At least the bare minimum, because it comes with everything. Well, they get to know each other, so yeah, $2,500. And I'm not going no lower.
Why 2,500 though?
Like, we both benefiting off of.
Look at how she's dressed while she's requiring you spend at least $2,500 on her. If she's requiring such a massive expense, then I'm requiring such a beautiful lady in better shape than that. My goodness, look at how she's walking around. This is lounge. In my home, I'm wearing more clothes than she's wearing out in the public. Exposing herself for everybody to see, and I must pay $2,500 to take her on one date. Delusional doesn't even begin to explain it.
So in order for it to really be beneficial, $2,500 is
So what you gonna give him on the first date?
a good time.
What's a good time?
Whatever it implies. Whatever comes along the way. The journey.
I can have a good time spending $0,
Whatever,
£0.
whatever transpires. Who knows? $2,500 is the bare minimum. Shit, I could have said $5,000. Actually, how much you think?
at least $250.
That's ridiculous. On a first date, she ain't never had nobody spending $2,500 on her. Next time, find the girls you interview at Target. I feel like Walmart just ain't the spot. She ain't never been on a date. Did she ever have the opportunity to be in such place? Did she ever have a guy who spent that amount on her? She better grab a seat and wait for the man who going to take her on that kind of date. But I know it's going to be a long ride, as most of us are no longer willing to spend more than $100 the first time we are meeting someone, let alone the amount she mentioned.
That's classless
Most
behavior.
of us know there is
Classless.
no need to spend a lot of money on a date, especially when we have never seen each other before. And
the way she's dressed isn't classy. Yes, she's being asked a question and she's giving her answer, but the answer is also classless. She could have said something like, "It doesn't matter as long as you have a good time. I'm more interested in getting to know the person." I'm willing to bet she's going to be single for a long
this is the
time.
reason a coffee date or a simple walk in the park are the best options for this situation.
Think about all the first dates that happen in the world. Just think about all of them. How many of them extend to a second date? So she's saying that we should spend $2,500 and there's no guarantee that we can see them ever again. Just spend your monthly allowance on one date and you're not even sure if there'll be a second date. She's a comedian. She's a comedian.
So from the moment we find ourselves in a situation where she has a certain monetary expectation, it sends a clear message that she is not interested, but wants to use that opportunity to get a free meal. In her case, based on her statement, it seems like she's talking about her dream.
I think I'm gonna leave, but like I need you to pay the bill because I'm not paying.
He said she's using it as an opportunity to get a free meal. What I want to know is what meal costs $2,500. Where is she eating?
The bill, like
I can't afford to pay the bill. But I get paid on Friday.
oh my god.
Did you hear that? He sounds like a guy who has been there before.
I've never had anyone talk to me like that. Like I'll pay it just because like you seem like you.
How about you see if your sister can cash out you stuff on the floor?
I'm literally like appalled. Like I don't like. Are you being serious right
I'll
now?
cover the tip if you want to like.
If you have the tip, then I'm not gonna sit here and argue with someone about paying a bill. I'll pay it, but like that's so sad that you would like ask somebody.
Well,
else.
if you'll pay it, then what's the big deal? Now come over here. Let me feel on it.
Why pay his half? That's his problem. The fact you didn't just get up and leave him. I sat here and pretended like I cared about what you said. pay your portion and he can wash dishes in the back. I will never get this. I want him to pay, but I'm not going to expect it or argue about it. I won't go out if I don't have the money to pay for it. I would have just paid my bill and let him figure it out. It feels good to see a woman taking the initiative and asking a man out. They are getting the message and are taking the front seat when it comes to this matter. But apparently, she seems a bit confused. She doesn't know what's expected from the person who took the initiative. I know most women expect men to always pay the bill when going on dates, but this case is different. That option is not valid as she was the one who invited him out, so he shouldn't be responsible for covering their bill. Her main issue was not understanding that once you decide to take the lead, you need to be ready to take everything that comes with it, including the bills, and this is something she wasn't aware of.
That's crazy. So she invited him out on a date and she's expecting him to pay. So in theory, she could say, "Hey, let's go to the new Michelin star restaurant." He'll say, "Sure, I'd like to go." They go together, sit down. Waiter brings the bill, $5,000, and she's looking at him to pay after she invited him. That's crazy. If that's the case, why doesn't she walk up to, I don't know, Tom Cruise and invite him out on a date as well? He's going to pay for it. That's crazy.
Since she didn't know his current financial situation, the minimum she should have done was be ready to cover the whole bill in case he didn't have money to cover his. How can you invite someone to a place, but at the same time expect them to cover the entire bill? If you want to go out but are not ready financially, at least make it clear to give the other party the opportunity to analyze whether it makes sense to go or not. Since he was invited, he probably assumed it shouldn't be a problem as he wouldn't be paying, but she had another idea.
Who should pay on the first date?
Person who asked. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good response. I wouldn't have.
She thinks she's smart. How many times did she ask a guy on a date? 0.
Apparently, the woman on the previous clip doesn't agree with that statement because she still thought it was his responsibility to cover their bill even though it wasn't his idea. You guys should see the number of women in the comment section who couldn't believe that she went through that situation. They couldn't believe that he expected her to pay. They even suggested that she should just get up and leave the restaurant as the bill doesn't belong to her. Based on their reaction, we are responsible for the bill regardless.
I'm going to say this with my whole chest as a 40-year-old woman. When I was in high school, the boys were taking us to movies and to a dinner for dates. In high school. You got a picture show and Applebee's at 16. One of my teenage nephews recently took his girlfriend to a steakhouse on a date. Saved his little money, took his girlfriend to a steakhouse on a date. Do not let these grown men sit out here and gaslight you and tell you that something is wrong with you because you don't want to go on a walk as a date. Do with that what you will. First date shouldn't be where you are catching a vibe with somebody to see if you like them. You should already know if you like them. Me personally, and I'm just speaking for me, that's what the telephone is for, right?
So she's okay with her 16-year-old nephew saving up his money. Who knows how long it took him to save that money. And then he blew on one date. And that girl can just turn around and say, "Nah, I'm not feeling it," and never see him again. So all that time and effort he spent making that money, he spent it on 1 hour or 2 hours with a girl, and she just, "Nah, I'm not feeling it." And she's okay with that. If she's okay with that, then obviously she doesn't care about man. She doesn't care about man.
Hey, if you want to get to know me, if you want to catch my vibe, you have to, you gotta hit me on the buzz. You gotta call my phone. That makes.
Notice she's on TikTok talking to her phone and she's not talking to a man in real life. I think that says it all.
Be very old school of me, but I'm not going on a first date with somebody if I ain't already had some conversations with them and sort of felt their vibe and all that type of stuff. I'm not even coming to sit across a table or whatever from you, and I don't know that, I could tolerate it. Listen, I've had somebody say to me, "Well, I just feel like my personality pops more in person," which, I mean, I guess, but I'm hip. You can FaceTime me. We can talk on FaceTime, but I'm not giving
She's
you
only coming out when you spend money on her.
on
Damn.
Friday to catch a vibe. No,
Damn.
you call me, we can have a conversation, right? Because I can tell in the phone conversation whether I'm gonna like you or not.
I knew I wasn't crazy.
I'm alright.
My son, who's 19, buys his girlfriend sneakers, and these men
Oh
be
my
pushing 40 and
gosh.
making excuses.
How much do you want to bet this woman whose 19-year-old son is buying his girlfriend sneakers? How much do you want to bet that she raised that son by herself? I don't have a child, but if I did, there's no way in hell my teenage son that's on probably minimum wage is spending his money on a woman who can just take those sneakers he paid for and walk off to another man. No way in hell. He's simping from such a young age and his mum is enabling it. These single mothers, man.
Excuses. If we went on a walk in high school, it was with ice cream after dinner. Exactly. Boys were taking us to the movies, buying us lunch and little gifts. I was getting necklaces and teddy bears.
And where are those boys now?
The boys were setting the standard in high school. Even if their mama had to drop us off, they took us out on dates in high school. My son took his girlfriend to a high-end steakhouse, flowers, gifts, please. She is all over the place, and that's why it's getting confusing. This is really simple, but her lack of understanding is leading her to comparing what used to happen years ago is not phone. Activities on the changed. Along
Into a do not with you because you
just mentioned this is not man spend his hard-earned money on as expected, taking is providing overseeing conversations over the got to read out. Should we put
When a man wants to go
failed to acknowledge? So why should we put our money on it?
when a man wants to go 50-50 with you on a date, do this. Oh my god. I'm so embarrassed right now. Wait, you wanted to just be friends? I'm so confused. This whole entire time I thought this was a date. Oh my god. Okay, I'm so sorry. Here's my card.
Girl, 50-50 is so reasonable for a first date. I work, I can pay for my dinner, especially on a first date when you don't know the other person. Sorry, didn't know you were going through some financial issues. But what exactly makes her think that 50-50 is not a reasonable thing to do on a first date?
I thought that's what they wanted, 50-50. I thought that's what they wanted. Men and women are equal.
Pay their half. Are you on it for the food, or do you want to meet the other person?
Are men and women equal or not equal, or what?
If you are going through some
I'm
financial
confused.
difficulties, take some time off from dating and concentrate on improving that part of your life. It's a better strategy.
We came to the end of our video and I hope you like it. Check the video on the screen, we have selected it for you. I will
see you in the next
one. And don't forget to